Well, hello, and I want to welcome you to tonight's webinar on 3 things you must organize right now and how to do it really, really quick. I'm so excited you took time out of your busy schedule to join us for this webinar, for this training, and I hope this is going to be super practical, very actionable for you. As we jump in right away, I want to tell you right off the bat, this is not going to make you more organized. However, it is going to make you more effective. And see, that's a big myth. People think getting organized is all about being able to find stuff on your house, about organizing the closets and the garage and your desk and your computer. It's not about being organized. It's about being more effective. But beyond that, it's not even about being more organized and being more effective. It's about making you a more fulfilled human being so that you know that your tasks, that your items, that your schedule, that the things that you work on are really the things that you're supposed to be working on that make you deeply fulfilled, that help you accomplish your purpose. And so that's what getting organized is about. It's not about being neat. It's not about changing your personality. It is absolutely about being more effective and being more fulfilled as a human being. And so let me go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Michael, and that's a picture of my family, and there's my name on Twitter. If you are on Twitter, I would love for you to hit me up. Let me know you're watching. Just say, hey, I'm watching the webinar. I would love to hear from you, love to learn a little bit more about you. There's my beautiful family. My wife, Jenny's next to me. And then right above my head is my oldest daughter, Lauren. She's going into the 7th grade this year. Next to my wife is our middle child, Emma. She is definitely a middle child. And then there's my son, Matthew, who has recently discovered baseball and baseball cards. And so right off the bat, let me answer the most common question I get every time I speak or do a webinar. And the most common question I am ever asked is, how do you pronounce your last name? And so it is it is Lukaszewski. And so if you just sound it out, that's kind of how it is, Lukaszewski. Now you know how to say my name. Now you are brilliant, right? And so again, if you're on Twitter, I would love for you to hit me up. At @mlukaszewski is my Twitter name, and I'd be really excited to connect with you there. Let me just tell you a little bit more about my kind of work background so you know where I'm coming from as we dive into this training. In 2005, my family and I, we moved to Atlanta, Georgia to start a brand new church in a small town just outside of Atlanta. And the name of that church was Oakleaf Church. And up until then, I had been a youth pastor for about 10 years. Not known for being the most organized people, right, in the world. But I was a youth pastor for a while, but felt like God wanted us to move and start a church. And so we did that. And we launched our church in a movie theater. It was a lot of fun, and we grew really, really, really fast. In fact, in this quickly, rapidly growing church, this is really kind of where I learned that organization wasn't a personality thing, but it was something that was going to help me be more effective and get more done and accomplish more. And so I learned really the value of systems and processes and kind of getting organized there at Oakleaf Church. And so the church is still doing well, and I'm really excited for them. And then about 3.5 years ago, I joined a team of people called the Rocket Company. And this was a for-profit company. And I started working with them actually while pastoring the church. I started as a writer, and I would create content for a program they had called Giving Rocket. And then I joined the team part-time, then I joined the team full-time. Eventually, over the course of a couple years, became the CEO. We had a team of 8 or 9 people, and we met and we led the team. And here again, I learned and saw firsthand the value of systems, processes, and doing things, not just doing things, but doing things the right way in a repeatable, scalable way. And so last year, the Rocket Company made the Inc. 5000 list as number 602, 602nd fastest growing company in the country. We won a big marketing award. We were named the best place to work, and so many cool things happened. And a lot of it is because we put into place, right, some systems and processes and some organizational tools. So that's just a little about me. I know you didn't come to the webinar to learn about me, but I wanted you to know where I'm coming from. Let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. So here's the game plan kind of for our next 30 minutes. We're really going to hit 3 things. First of all, I want to talk to you about how to organize your stuff and how to find it when you need it. I recently read a stat that showed that people spend upwards of 1 year of their life looking for things that they have misplaced. I know I've left my keys, my wallet, all over the place, right? And so we're going to talk about how to organize stuff, particularly on your computer. We're going to talk about how to take control of your family schedule so your schedule does not control you. If you have kids, if you frequently have to be in places more than one time, more than one place at a time, this will help. And then what I'm really, really, really excited about is we're going to talk about how to make sure that your to-do list, right, your action list, the stuff that you're working on, really lines up with what is most important in your life. And so super practical, super actionable stuff that I think is going to be really helpful for you. One heads up at the end of the webinar, so I'm going to go through all the content. And at the end of the webinar, for maybe the last 5 minutes, I want to give you a special offer for a brand new course I'm releasing. I'm doing it at the end. And so if you don't want to hear it, you can just log off and you can be done. But if you would stick around until the end of the webinar, at the very end, I want to give you this special offer on this brand new resource that I've spent tons and tons of time creating for you. And so I'll tell you about that at the end. So let's get going. I told you we were going to talk about 3 things. Let's dive in. Let me just give you the first thing right away. And the first thing I want to encourage you to do is stop letting your tasks manage you. The stuff that you have to do, your to-do list, okay, whether you have a list in your head, whether you have a list on an actual list, or you have a list on a computer, I would encourage you to stop letting those tasks dictate what you are doing today. And the reason this is so important is because it's the difference between the urgent and the important. And so what happens is a lot of times in our life, the urgent things, right, the things that we have to do right now, today, you got to get this done right now, they take over our schedule, and we end up doing all those things, and we never have time to truly do what is important. But I believe that greatness and purpose and fulfillment comes when we can align our schedule and intentionally see stuff on our schedule, on our to-do list, that speaks to the important side of things in our lives. Not just the urgent, but the important. And here's why I know this is true. Because I bet your to-do list is filled with other people's action items, right? And so that's what happens. A boss, a spouse, family member, they give you stuff to do, and it's on your list. And again, whether you have a real list or it's just in your head, most of the things that you do are other people's priorities. And you're not actually working on the things you want to work on. You're working on the things other people need you to work on, or telling you to work on, or want you to work on. The other thing about this is I bet your to-do list is filled with urgent stuff and not important. So I want to ask you, how much of your to-do list is really important? If you were to look at it, every item that you would say, hey, no, these are truly the important things in my life. These are not just the urgent things. These are important things. Too many times, the important stuff gets pushed off of our action list because there's something urgent, something that we have to do. And so you're going, all right, well, what's the solution? What's the solution to this? And I think the solution is this, is to align your tasks with your priorities. To align your tasks, the things that you do with your priorities, those are your goals, the things that you believe are the most important. Now, I know this is theoretical and I know this is tangible, so I want to walk you through how exactly I do this. And every Monday morning, the first thing I do on Monday is I complete a 2-page sheet of paper. I just call it my weekly focus. And it's my weekly focus, and it's a sheet of paper. It's printed, and I get a pen out, and I write this down on this weekly focus. And I do a few things. This weekly focus, it allows me to do a couple things. And I'm going to show you the actual piece of paper. I'm going to show you the form and kind of walk you through how I do it. But here's what this does for me on Monday when I sit down to do this. First thing Monday, usually when it's quiet in the house before anybody gets up, is I look back on last week's accomplishments. So one side of the sheet of paper is just all look back. And so I'll open up the calendar, I'll look up the to-do list from last week, and I'll say, what did I really accomplish? And if I accomplished it, I will write it down. I will write down what I accomplished next week, because what happens, at least for me, is I'm so forward thinking that I'll forget to actually look back and celebrate or remember what got accomplished last week. Like, what were the good things from last week? And even now, as you're thinking, as you're looking back on the last few days or the last 7 days, you're going, man, what happened? What good things happened? What things did you plan to happen and you accomplished them? Or what things you didn't plan and you accomplished them anyway? Like, what were some of the outcomes of last week? And I found that writing those down, this is something I learned actually from some other people in some other environments, but writing down the accomplishments that you have, it helps lock them in, and it helps make them a part of the fabric of your life. And so I would spend, and this is not long, maybe 10, 15 minutes, just looking back on what was accomplished last week. The next thing I do, then I flip the piece of paper over to the back, and I look ahead toward next week. But I don't look ahead towards what do I've got to do. I don't look at the calendar and say, what meetings do I have? I don't look at the to-do list and say, oh, these are the things that somebody needs me to do. I start by looking ahead to say, what are the main things I want to do? And there's 3. What are the 3 most important outcomes, right? So when I get to the end of next week and I'm looking back on this, what do I want to have written on the backside of this paper? What are the most important, another word for outcomes is results. What are the most important results that I want to see happen in the next 7 days, in this week ahead, in this work week ahead? And I write those down. And I write it all down on one sheet of paper, front and back. And I keep that sheet of paper on my desk all week long. And it becomes like an anchor to help me do the things, not that other people are asking me to do, but that I have determined that are the most important results and the most important outcomes for me. So let me just show you exactly what the sheet looks like and how I do it. Here's the looking back piece. And so you see it says looking back. And on the left, there's a place to write down 10 achievements. And achievements are simply the things that were accomplished. And so there are different kinds. There are things that I accomplish at work, things that I accomplish in my marriage or family life, and I write all those things right there. And so I might say, I took Lauren to breakfast, and we talked about, boys, right? And so that would be an achievement. I mean, that's something that I look back on and go, that was something, right? That wasn't just one of those days where it was like, what'd you do? Nothing. No, that was something. And then you see over to the right where the orange dots are, it says next steps. And so if I was writing down, took Lauren to breakfast and talked about voice, it would be next step. What do I want to talk to her about next? When's the next breakfast going to be? When can I put that on the calendar? Is there a book I want to get her to read? Is there a conversation that I want to have? And so I always look back and say, what accomplishments, what achievements did I have, and what steps did they make? So if it was a meeting, maybe I met somebody for the first time, and it would be, I had a great intro meeting with so-and-so. A next step might be send them a thank you note. And so as I'm looking back and going, what did I accomplish last week? What really happened last week? I'm thinking, all right, is there another step that I need to do to keep that relationship alive, to keep something moving forward? Because I don't want to just look back and just have done stuff and then forget about it. So the achievements and the next step piece really, really helps me. And for most of those next steps, they're really easy. I can just do them right then. And so even on Monday, a lot of times there'll be 2 or 3 just handwritten thank you notes that I need to write of just thanking somebody for their time or for a connection or for something. And I'll just immediately do that because that's a next step from last week's achievement. And looking back, it really helps me lock in those accomplishments or those achievements. And so that's the looking back part. And so every Monday, I sit down and I get the sheet of paper out and I look back on the calendar, the thing, I said, what did I accomplish last week? And I think, are there any next steps that need to happen to push those things forward even more? So that's the looking back. Looking ahead is a little more detailed. So let me walk you through this. So right up at the top, I write what week it is. And so I'll write, week of like June 5th or whatever. And I'll write that down. And then here you see at the top where I said the 3 most important outcomes of the week. And so a lot of you are wondering, where did I get this form? I actually had this form designed and designed it for my use because I wanted to use it. And so the 3 most important outcomes, and you see that I put little boxes there next to them, to the right, the little orange boxes. It's because I want to be able to check them off. See, outcomes need to be able to be accomplished. You need to be able to say, I can look at that and say, I did it. And so maybe one of the most important outcomes, I'll give you a sneak peek to look back on one of mine. It was like, get 500 people signed up for this webinar. Now, that's a checkable, box, right? I can say, did 500 people get signed up for this webinar? Yes or no? Check that off. And so when I look back at the end of the week and say, man, it was awesome. 500 people signed up for the webinar that I did on getting organized. That is an outcome. That is an objective. That is a priority for the week. That priority might have many items or many tasks or have lots of to-do lists. But the objective, right? The thing that I want to say, when I get to the end of this week, here's what I want to have accomplished, goes in that box. And I only picked 3. And here's why. I know some of you say there's 10 different things that you need to do this week, but some of them are not most important. There are some that are the most important. So when we talk about aligning your schedule to what's most important, I'm not talking about aligning your schedule to what's all important. I'm saying to what's most important. When you get to the end of the week, what are the most important things that you will have checked off? There will be some other things that maybe you can check off, but what are the most important? So what are the 3 most important outcomes? Now, below that, you see where I break it down into projects. So I say, okay, I can work on 3 projects this week. And what are the 3 most important projects I want to work on that lead to my 3 most important outcomes? And so the project might be get the signups for the webinars. And then there's some action items. And this is where I begin to drill down and say, okay, what do I need to do in order to have 500 people signed up for the webinar? What do I need to do in order to have my result? And see, this is where most of us, and for me for a long time, get this backwards, is we think about what we need to do before we think of the result. But we've got to switch that, and we've got to think of the result before we think about what we've got to do. So in order to get the result of your project, what are the things that you need to do? And you'll see that I put just 3 action items for each project for a total of 9 things. So now sometimes these are larger things. These are important things. But the goal of this planner for me, the goal of this focus, is to drill down on what's really important in my life. I'm not trying to capture everything that I'm going to do the week. I'm trying to capture what is the most important part of the week. And then down at the bottom, you see I have a place for 3 people, 3 relationships. And so I've realized just in my life that everything good that's happened in my life has happened because of other people. You are who you are because of other people. Friends, family, coworkers. There are people in your life. There are relationships that God has allowed to be in your life that you need to nurture and you need to sustain. And maybe these are people that you work with. Maybe these are people that you're trying to develop a relationship with. Maybe these are just people who need appreciation, that you're some type of leader or influence. And so I literally write their names. The 3 people that I'm going to connect with are, and I decide in advance how I'm going to do it. Am I going to meet them? Am I going to call them? Am I going to send them a text? Am I going to send them an email? And I put a check mark right by how I'm planning to contact these 3 people. And so that's kind of like my hit list, right? The relational hit list for the week of the people that I want to connect with. So you see what's got it. I've got my outcomes, I've got my projects, and I've got my people for the coming week. And I've determined in advance on Monday morning what the most important things that I need to do that week are. And I've determined in advance how I'm going to spend my time on my most important things, because this keeps it, because my life is just like yours. All kinds of crazy stuff comes up. All kinds of stupid stuff comes up. All kinds of things I didn't plan on comes up. But this keeps me anchored into what is most important. And so that's how I look back and I look ahead with this just simple 2-page. This whole process takes me about 30 minutes, and I complete it. And it's one of the most. It's one of the best things that I do. And it's great to do at the beginning of the week. You may choose to do this on Sunday night, at the end of a week. I know a lot of people spend some time on Sunday night kind of reviewing last week, looking ahead for the next week. But the key is to find some time and to do this consistently. And when you do it, here's what's going to happen. You're going to realize that you're not letting things that don't really matter control your life. That you're being intentional about saying, here's what's important. Here's the anchor. Here's what I'm doing. And the other thing is it's helped you pull out what's really, really, really important so you can double down on those things. And this is where, this is kind of time management stuff, but where you can double down where your input is critical and you can delegate when others can do it at 80% effectiveness. And so sometimes I'll write some things on the list and go, you know what, I don't even need to be doing that. That's not worthy. That's not worthy of being on this sheet of paper. I mean, that's just the thing. If you write something down and you go, you know what, I'm not really going to feel bad if I don't get that done this week, then just take it off. Just take it off the list or get somebody else to do it. So when you decide what's really important, where you should invest your time, it allows you to double down where your input, where your leadership, where your time is critical. So that's kind of the focus. That's all about your to-do list, to getting control of your to-do list, to keep it from controlling you. So let's go on. I want to talk about something on your computer now. I want to talk about one of my favorite tools. Number 2 is this: to save and find everything on your computer. To save and find everything on your computer. And of course, I'm talking about a free software tool that I use. It's become my number 1 tool. It is my number 1 go-to tool. That's hard to say. And it's called Evernote. It's called Evernote. Evernote is a free software tool, and I'm going to walk you through what it is, how to use it real quick. This isn't going to be an in-depth user's manual for Evernote, but I want to show you how I use it. And I'm going to show you my screen and how I save things and what I save in Evernote to help me stay organized so I can find stuff on my computer, because so much of my life is lived on my computer, right? So what is Evernote? It is a free software tool and app. You can go to evernote.com. You can download it on your computer. You can download it on any device that you have, an iPad, Android, phone. You can do it. It's totally free. The second thing is people ask me, well, what's it like? It is like a digital filing cabinet. If you remember back, maybe some of you still have this. You have a filing cabinet. I remember the old metal filing cabinet. It's 4 drawers tall. You pulled it out, made that crazy, ridiculous noise, squeaky kind of metal on metal noise, and you'd have all the file folders in there. Evernote is like a filing cabinet on your computer. It lets you file anything that you want to keep. You can save just about everything in Evernote. You can save pictures. You can save text. You can save documents. You can save PDFs. You can save anything in Evernote. Just like you can just cram all kinds of stuff in that filing cabinet, you can save anything in Evernote. One of my favorite features, I'm going to show you this in a minute, is it's searchable and it's shareable. So when you put stuff in the filing cabinet, you used to have to go through and go, okay, C, Okay, CL, you have to go look for it. Evernote is so searchable. It's so easy to find stuff so fast, and it's shareable. I love this feature. You could share a folder with somebody else, and they can see and put things into the folder from another computer. And so my wife and I actually have shared folders, so she can drop stuff into a folder, I can drop stuff into a folder, and it just becomes a shared filing cabinet. And the more you use it, the more powerful it becomes. So when you download it and start using it today, if you're not already using it, it'll be cool. But the more you use it, the more powerful it becomes. So let's talk about what kind of stuff you can save in Evernote. Here's some of the stuff I save. Blog posts and web pages. So when I read a blog post that I really love, I'm like, man, I want to save that. I might need to write about that. I might want to use that in an article. I might want to put that in a resource. That's really good. I want to save it. I save it super fast with Evernote. I don't bookmark it, try to go to it later and have this ridiculous list of all these bookmarks. I save it in Evernote. Web pages. I visit a website and I go, man, that's a good website. I might want to do a website like that, or that's something I need to save. I can save the entire web page into Evernote super fast. Emails. You can save important emails that you want to keep, and there's a super fast way to do that. You can save PDF documents and ebooks. You know, all those ebooks that you download off the internet. Maybe you bought an ebook from me and you want to keep it. You can keep it inside Evernote. And one of the best reasons to keep this kind of stuff inside Evernote is because when you search, it searches inside these documents, not just the title, but inside the document. You can save pictures. I take pictures and I put them in Evernote. One of my biggest tips and tricks is, you know how if you have kids, when they come home from school and they made something and you're like, can we keep it? Can we keep it? And you're like torn, because no, it should absolutely go in the trash. But then they made it, right? So you can't throw it away right in front of them. So you've got this choice, right? You can either put it in the trash can and then try to bury it under the napkins and some of the stuff so they don't see it, because that's the worst, right? If you've thrown something away that they see, that's no good, right? So what we do is we take a picture of it. We can literally take a picture of it and we send it to Evernote. That way we're keeping it, we're not really keeping it. Because Evernote's the digital filing cabinet, and we can go back and look through all their pictures, all their projects they made at school. We can keep all those things and we can find them. Scan documents. We do this all the time. When we get a document that we need to keep, we just scan it, boom, scan it, throw it away, scan it, throw it away. We keep things clutter-free and neat because we just keep scanned documents in Evernote. So let's talk about how you save it. Okay, how do you save stuff in Evernote? This is one of my favorite things about Evernote. You can simply, when you sign up for an Evernote account, it gives you a unique email address. And it's one of those ridiculous email addresses like 64933 something .c.6 at evernote.com, right? And so you get this unique email address. And what you want to do is you want to save that email address in your address book, and you just want to call it Evernote. So Evernote, and it's got this email address that's unique to you. And anytime you want to get anything into Evernote from your phone, from your computer, from your iPad, or anything, you just forward it. If it comes into your inbox and you want to keep it in Evernote, you just forward it to your unique email address because you've saved Evernote. So I'll just say forward, boom, type EV Evernote, and it'll pop up, and then hit send. And it sends it immediately to Evernote. If it's an attachment, it sends the attachment. If it's just an email, it sends an email. Anything you get in your inbox that you want to keep, you just forward it to your unique Evernote email address. It's so easy to get it there. Another thing I use all the time, every day I use is a keyboard shortcut. And so I might highlight some text. I might hit Command-C to copy it, and then I hit Control-Command-V to paste it into Evernote. And when I hit those buttons, I don't even have to take my hands off the keyboard. I hit those buttons, boom, Evernote opens up, new note. Exactly what I copied is pasted into a new note, and it's there inside of Evernote. Keyboard shortcuts are amazing, amazing. You're just working, boom, save that to Evernote, boom, save that to Evernote. Another thing is there's web clippers, and so if you, depending on what browser you use, Safari or Chrome or Firefox or whatever browser you use, there's an extension or a plugin that you can get, and it puts a little icon up in on your browser. So if you see an article or you see a web page, or you see some text you want to save, you just click that thing and it sends it right over to Evernote. It's so easy to save stuff in Evernote. I love it. Let's talk about how you store it, right? How do you file it? So you just send all this stuff to Evernote. Well, my filing cabinet that I had, it had all these files and it was alphabetized. How do you do it? How do you do it in Evernote? Two things. First of all, there's folders, and I'm about to show you my folder structure that I use to keep stuff. And so just like in a filing cabinet, you would have folders. This is for bills. This is for pictures. This is for saved emails, whatever. You can create folders. And in Evernote, they're called notebooks. And those are the things you can share with people. So you can create folders, but one of the things I love is I love the tags. So when you save something in Evernote, you can tag it. You can tag it bills. You can tag it name of your kid. There's all these different tags you can use, and you can assign multiple tags to a note. And when you want to go keep it, you just put it in there, you put it in the right folder, you give it a couple tags, and you don't have to put it in folders, you don't have to give it tags, but those are things that are available to you. Here is a picture of my Evernote inbox from my computer. Now on my phone it looks a little different, and so let me just kind of walk you through these things in the middle. These white boxes are my notebooks, and so you see I've got several different kind of notebooks or folders. There off to the left are some shortcuts. Those are some things I've used recently. Those are things I use most often. But here in the middle are all my different notebooks. So you can see I've got like 10 or 12 notebooks. Let me walk you through a few of them. First of all, there's the inbox. Inbox is so important. I learned this from Michael Hyatt. It's exclamation point inbox. And the reason I put the exclamation point is so it appears at the top. Okay, so it's always the top list. An inbox is what I set to be my default notebook. So anytime something comes into Evernote, it goes into the inbox. And this is a really big tip because I don't want to spend time figuring out what folder and tag stuff need to be going in. When I'm working, I want to save something. Boom, I send it to Evernote. It goes into the inbox. And about once a week, I'll come into the inbox and I'll put everything where it really needs to go. And so when I forward something to my Evernote email address, it goes in inbox. When I use Control-Command-V to paste something into Evernote, it goes into the inbox. It's the default folder. So anytime something new, it goes into the inbox. And you can see right now I've got 5 things that I just put in there today. And I'll come back at the end of the week. And so some of the other things I have is I have a folder called Notes. And so Notes, you can see there's 1,300 items in Notes. And this is where just most things go because Evernote's search tool is so powerful. I don't need to have 55 folders. I don't need to have a bunch of folders and categorize stuff. It's so easy to find stuff that most things that I save, it's like this general, it's the miscellaneous category. Most stuff goes into Notes because through tags and through searching, I can find it when I need it. Now I'll have some other content. I'll have some other folders, but Notes is kind of where most thing goes. And then I have I just started this one. Just last week called a swipe file. A swipe file is simply something I want to keep because I may want to steal the idea. Swipe file. So somebody sends me a great email, and I'm like, you know what? That email would work great for my Get Organized webinar. It was a webinar sign up, and it was a great email. So I want to keep it. I send it to swipe file. And so those are the different folders that I use. So you see blog ideas. All my blog ideas start in Evernote. So I've got 293 different blog ideas that are just something I could write about. It may be a sentence, it may be a paragraph. I actually write my blog post inside Evernote, and I write it in blog ideas. And then when it's done, I just drag it over into blog posts. And so blog posts are look, nearly 400 blog posts that I've written, and those are just completed blog posts. Guitar chords, I keep some guitar chords. Meeting notes, I love that. Whenever I have a meeting and there's meeting notes, sometimes I'll take a picture of the dry erase board and I'll just drop it into meeting notes, and there's the notes. The ones down here that start with RC, those are shared folders. And so there's shared folders that I share with different people on different content that I'm working on. I got recipes for my Big Green Egg. Starting over is a book I'm working on, so I create a folder just for research for the book. I just started that one. And so this is how I use Evernote. These folders are so powerful, and it's so easy to get stuff in there. Now let's talk about how you find it. Evernote is so powerful, it lets you find stuff by searching for it. And I love it because it gives you you can use normal search terms like notes from San Francisco, notes from an iPhone, notes from a notebook. Of course, you can search for actual words as well. So you can search for webinar, and it'll find all the notes that have the word webinar in it. You can use the plus sign to search for notes that have at least 2 words in it. You can use minus sign to exclude words. So show me webinar, but exclude the word Microsoft. And so it's so powerful to search for stuff. That's why I drop most things into just the notes folder, because I can come back and I can search. And Evernote just searches. You can search by title. You can search by tag. You can search in a certain folder. You can search for a bunch of stuff. I mean, it's so easy to search for stuff. One of my favorite search features of Evernote is it picks up handwriting. And so here's a picture of somebody that used King George, and it's handwriting. And when they're searching for King George, it finds the handwriting. And so this is so amazing if you are in a brainstorm meeting and maybe you rent some stuff up on a dry erase board, and you take a picture of that dry erase board, you send it to Evernote, and when you come back and you say, I know in that meeting we were talking about profit and loss, and you wrote that on the dry erase, it'll find that inside of it. If it's a picture, right? Maybe you take a picture of a wine label. That's what a lot of people use Evernote to keep track of the wines that they drink. And I'll drink a great wine and take a picture of of the label and go back, hey, what was that? What was that Pinot Noir we had? And you can search for that, and it looks on the wine label inside the picture to see the words, and you can find stuff that way. Powerful, powerful search feature. So that's Evernote. I really want to encourage you to use it. Number three, third thing I want to talk about is getting control of your family schedule. How to get control of your family schedule, because family schedule can get out of control. Now, no matter what your family looks like, maybe you've got 10 kids, maybe you're like us, you have 3 kids, maybe you have no kids, maybe you have a dog, maybe it's just you. But right, get control of your family schedule. The more people that are in your family, the more crazy it gets, right? And so let's talk a little bit about scheduling and your family, about that calendar. So we've talked about your to-do list. We've talked about kind of your computer, keeping stuff organized there. Now let's talk about that calendar. And here's one thing I've realized, is that your family is not one of these online families, right? These online, you know what I'm talking about, these online families, these blogs where the moms are making all these crafts and the kids are doing all these awesome worksheets, and there's all this cool stuff on your house from Pinterest. Here's what I know. Your family is not an online family. Online families are fake families. Everything looks great. Everything's smooth. Everything operates great. But that's not your family. In fact, I see these pictures, right? You look at this family on Pinterest, and you're like, look, that family's so happy. And you've ever tried to lay with a family like that? It does not look like that, right? It probably looks like this, right? You get the kids smashing the dad's nose. You got a crying kid. It's like, that's real life family. How about this one, right? These Christmas cards. I mean, who thinks to put their kid inside a stocking holding a candy cane and a Santa hat? I mean, that's to have. You try to do that with your kid. I mean, it's going to look like this, right? Because the picture on the left is an online picture, and the picture on the right is real life. How about the pumpkin shop, right? I mean, what is this? I don't understand this. I mean, who wants to put their kid in a pumpkin? But you try to put your kid in a pumpkin. I mean, they're gonna freak out, and so that freak out kid needs to be on Pinterest, right? Not that other kid with the little thing on their head, right? An online family is great, but your family is not an online family. It is a real family. That is my real family, and those are my 3 kids. This was at a donut place. We went to get a donut, and here's what I've learned about my family. That the older my kids get, the more hectic our schedule gets. So we have 5 in our family plus a dog, and sometimes we all have to be in different places. Emma was playing softball. Lauren was playing lacrosse. Matthew was playing baseball. Lauren's in chorus. They got sleepovers. We got church. We got small group things that they go to. We're in a small group. We've got church. We've got meetings. All this stuff in our family schedule is crazy. It's just crazy. I mean, we sometimes have to be in multiple places at the same time, and it's just tough. And so one of the things that we do, I want to just give you something really practical, just really tangible, because I've seen so many different ways, from calendars on the wall, chalkboards, all these things. You go to Pinterest and search for this stuff, right? And you go, man, I'm really messed up. But here's one of the things we do in our family. We have a Sunday night family meeting. We really have two traditions in our family. We do Friday night pizza and movie night, and then on Sunday night we do a family meeting. And we do this most Sundays. We don't. So there are a handful of Sundays that we miss this or skip it or just things get out of control. But most of the time we do a Sunday night family meeting. And I want to tell you what we do on Sunday night in our family meeting and how this works for us, because this helps us just stay on the same page. Here's what we do. We literally take out the calendar and we go around the table and we go, here's what's on the calendar this week. And I share what's on my calendar. My wife talks about what's going on, and we talk about what's going on with the kids. We just sit down and we have a conversation. And having this conversation, it helps everybody know that everybody's got stuff to do. Okay, so you think about it. When you're just a kid, you're thinking about your stuff. But in our family meeting, we're talking through, hey, we've all got these different things, and we're able to talk about what we've all got going on, and it helps us feel like a team. And we talk about our family as being a team. And so the team's got to be at different meetings this week, and here's some of the stuff that's going on. And then we ask our kids, we say, what do you have going on this week? What do you have? What's going on? What's going on at school? Do you have any big tests? What do you have going on? And we try to give our kid, now again, as the older they get, right, the more detailed this becomes, right? When the kids are young, they don't know, but you can do this as kids as young as 2 or 3 years old. What do you have going on? What's happening? What's going on in your world this week? And then we say, here's what's going on in our world this week. Here's what's going on in our world, mom and dad. And so this is where we might even talk about things like, hey, we're trying to save up money for this vacation that we want to go on with our family. We might talk about things that we've got to get done around the house or with work. We might talk about on kid level just some of the things that we're processing through or struggling through or worried about or praying for. We talk about what's going on because we want our family to know, our kids to know what's happening. And this family meeting, it is amazing how it aligns our family with what's going on and the schedule. And there have been many times where we've had to say, you know what, we can't do that, and here's why we can't do that. And we were able to provide context because of something we talked about in our family meeting. And our family meeting helps us control our schedule versus letting our schedule control our family. And this is a realization we had one time when we had to get the kids to all this different kind of stuff, and there was a course practice, and the course teacher's like, you got to have this kid here, but they got to be over there. And finally, I remember this conversation my wife and I were like, why are we even doing all this? We don't work for the course teacher, right? What is our family purpose? What is our family priority? And then if we can't do something, we just say, I'm sorry, but we can't do that, or we're not going to do that. And so this family meeting has kind of become the hub for us for talking through how to do stuff. And I think this might work for your family. And so what would it look like to kind of gather everybody up together on a Sunday night? Maybe school's about to start the next day, and say, hey, let's just talk a little bit about last week. Let's talk a little bit about this next week. What do you got going on? Here's what we've got going on. And we get the schedule all synced up. And sometimes we make decisions, but I think the real benefit of this meeting is helping all our kids realize that there's more to the schedule than their schedule. And that is an amazing, amazing, amazing realization. Now, I told you at the beginning of this webinar that we were going to talk about 3 things, and here's the 3 things we've covered, just to review. We've talked about number 1, we've talked about your to-do list, and I share with you kind of the form that I use to look back and look ahead, the weekly focus. We talked about Evernote. I showed you my folder system of how I use Evernote, and I would encourage you to use it as well. Just evernote.com, it's free. And then we talked about kind of the family schedule, and I share with you the idea of the Sunday night family meeting, just one simple, tangible thing that you can do. But I told you at the beginning of the webinar that I wanted to give you an offer for a brand new course I'm releasing, and it's starting in just a couple weeks, and it's called a Get Organized Now course. And so here it is. I want to invite you to participate in my brand new 5-week online course called Get Organized Now. And so in this webinar, I just touched on a couple things, but in this 5-week course, we're going in depth on 5 areas of your life that are so easy to get out of control. And so Get Organized Now is a 5-week on-demand course to help you organize your personal, family, home, work, and digital life. So those 5 areas. And so it's 5 weeks. It's video, and so it's on demand. And so every week for 5 weeks, I'm going to send you a video you can watch. You can watch it right when you get it, or you can watch it anytime that week. There's homework assignments, there's training, there's bonus stuff, there's all kinds of fun stuff in this to help you organize those 5 key areas: your personal life, your family life, your home life, your work life, and your digital life. So I wanted to answer some questions because that I know you've got about the course. What are you going to teach? Here's what I'm going to teach. In the first section, I'm going to talk about how to organize your digital life. And I talked a tiny bit about about Evernote. But in this digital section, I'm going to talk about email. I'm going to talk about Dropbox. I'm going to talk about passwords. I'm going to talk about all the things that happen on your computer way beyond just Evernote. And so we're going to talk about that. And then in Organize Your Home Life, I'm going to talk about how to, even more on the family schedule, I'm going to talk about how to align not just your family schedule, but your family values. And we're going to talk about how to get your home organized, even some spaces in your home, different things. I want to talk about, in session 3, organize your financial life. This is so practical. I'm telling you, this section is so practical. I mean, it probably will save you and help you save thousands and thousands of dollars. I mean, real dollars in this organize your financial life section. So we'll talk about different accounts and different ways to manage stuff, and just some real practical, actionable tools that'll help you save and invest and do the kind of things with your finances that you want to do. Your personal life, I mean, we're going to talk about your personal, just how to personally get organized. And this has nothing to do with your personality or whether you have ADD or whether, it's all about getting yourself aligned with what your purpose is in life. And that's session 4. And I'm going to give you, in that session, I'm going to give you these planners and the document I use. I'm going to give you that so you can begin to use these things as well. In session 5, we're going to talk about organizing your family life. We'll dive even deeper into your family, into your schedule, into your priorities, into your values, and all those things. It's so practical. It's so valuable. Now, who is this course for? Who should sign up for this? First of all, if you're a leader and you want to be more efficient with your time. If you lead anything and you want to get more done with your time, people say this will help you save time. That is not true. Nothing can help you save time. But I can help you be more efficient with your time. Parents who want a more functional home to not be crazy. Business leaders who actually want to accomplish their goals. If you are setting goals and are tired of not meeting them because you're not aligning your schedule and all that stuff with your goals, this will help you. People who have 35 documents on their computer desktop, right? If your computer is filled with icons and it's all over the place, you need this course. People who say, it's not lost, I just don't know where to find it. If you say that, or if you make the excuse of like, hey, it may look disorganized, but I know right where everything is, you need this course. And then moms who frequently have to be in multiple places at one time will benefit from this course. When does the course start? The first lesson will be released in about 10 days. It's on demand, so I'm creating the content, I'm filming the videos, we're editing it, we're packaging it, we're designing it, we're putting it all together, and we're releasing the first video in about 10 days, and then you'll get the next 4 videos 1 week after that. And so the course lasts 5 weeks total. Every week you're going to get a brand new video. You'll have access to it. If you get behind, you'll be able to go back. You'll be able to follow along with us. And the first video comes out in about 10 days. How do we access the training videos? We've created a private membership area with 24/7 access. So every time a new video is added, a new course is added, a new module is added, I'll send you an email that says, hey, video number 2 is ready. Video number 3 is ready. And you'll go there, you'll watch it. You can download it. You can watch it there. You can save all the PDFs. You can get all the other recommended links and all the other resources, all the homework assignments will be right there in your private membership area where you can kind of journey along. And when the course is done, you'll have access to that forever, and you can keep going back. How much does it cost? I work so hard on this course, so hard on this course, because so many of the tools and the strategies and the ideas I've been using in my own life and business for the last 2 or 3 years. And so I've made this course really valuable and actionable. So the regular price for the course is $297. That's for all 5 videos. For the videos, for the homework sessions, for the modules, there's ebook, for the PDFs, for all the different resources and links, recommendations, $297. But because you're on this webinar, I'm making it $197 today for you. And so you can sign up for the Get Organized Now course. And here's what's so amazing. If you go through the entire course on week 1, on week 2, on week 4, on week 5, hey, 6 months after it's over, and you say, you know what, I did that course and it really didn't help me, I will give you your money back for life. Lifetime money back guarantee. That's how much I believe in this course. That's how much I believe that this will help you. And so it's $197, but it is completely risk-free for you, because if it's not what you wanted, if it's not what you liked, if it turns out to not be helpful, if I'm somehow over-promising and under-deliver, you just send an email, no questions asked, money back guarantee. You can sign up for the course by clicking on the links on this page, or you can just type in your browser, getorganizedcourse.com. It'll take you to the page where you can sign up. And in this course, I'm going to help you organize and systematize so many areas in your life: your finances, your home life, your actual home space, your work life, your business. And we're going to talk about setting goals. We're going to talk about so many things that I believe will really help you. And so I want to encourage you to go to getorganizedcourse.com, jump in with hundreds of other people who are going to journey through together on this course, and allow me the opportunity to be your kind of virtual coach through creating some of these systems and strategies and tools in your life to not just help you be more organized, but to be more effective and to be more fulfilled as a person. So thanks so much for watching this webinar. I hope it's been valuable for you. Let me know if you've got any questions. Reach out on Twitter if there's anything I can do for you. And I'll be so glad to answer any questions. So thanks so much for watching. Hope you have a great evening. God bless.